October 30th, the RSI analysis on the daily time frame. Right here, important RSI comparison daily time frame. I also posted this in different telegrams and discords. So this showed the past RSI extreme overbought situations, how long the RSI was in extreme overbought, and I was expecting for the final quarter of 24, which we're at now, for the RSI to go into extreme overbought. And I outlined that it went to the 87 value the past 2 times the RSI went to extreme overbought. As explained right here in this post on TradingView, the Q4 23 pump and also this year's ETF hype pump, that's the last 2 times that RSI on the daily time frame went into extreme overbought, and it lasted for about a month. So now I posted this on October 30th. Now we'll fast forward to where we're at right now. So as we can see, we had the Trump pump. Like 4 days after I made that post, we had the Trump pump. Then the RSI on November 6th started to make its way into extreme overbought. So here we are. And this was, I think, 19 days. It wasn't a whole month, 19 days. Now in the video I published yesterday, it wasn't a fancy video or anything. It was just me going over the RSI and how it reacts in bull markets when the RSI goes into extreme overbought and then price corrects in a bull market. Remember, we're talking about a bull market. The RSI never goes straight down and goes into extreme oversold, so beyond the 30 level. That was yesterday's video or 2 days ago. So right now I want to make this update because Bitcoin came into extreme overbought. This is the final moments of 24. This was in late November. Came down, tried to come back up. It tried to bounce back up into extreme overbought, but instead it crossed the 50 value. And I wanted to show in the past situation why I don't think I don't think Bitcoin is gonna go into extreme oversold. Okay, so this is Q4. Let's zoom in. This is Q4. This was October. I made another comparison about this price action right here in a short form video a few weeks back. So you can see that Bitcoin went into extreme overbought in October, which it floated above the 50 value. Now, as I've told in past videos, I've done little teaching sessions about how the RSI, if it's trending above 50, that means it's an uptrend. If it's trending below 50, bouncing up and down, that means it's a downtrend. As you can see, when the RSI finally does cross down below the 50, it did not go into extreme oversold. It didn't even touch the 30 value. And this was a long video that I made 2 days ago showing many different times when Bitcoin comes from extreme overbought, it doesn't go to extreme oversold. It gets close to the 30 value, but doesn't get there. So in this case, it went to 35. So I'm expecting a healthy pullback until there's macro market structure breaks. And in my previous video, I talked about that. Bitcoin corrects until about January and has another push. Now, I'm expecting the same type of price action. I've been saying this for months, probably since after our correction from the March highs, and then we corrected to the 50K area back up. I've been saying that this bull run is weaker than previous bull runs, and everybody can see that. The volume is much lower. We have this ETF stuff, institutional money coming in, but it hasn't led Bitcoin to anything phenomenal, in my opinion. You know, right now, Bitcoin has made a couple of corrections, kept pushing higher, but we have a huge weekly divergence that now people are finally spotting this divergence, but it's been farming for a while. And that's the weekly time frame. And if you are someone that pays attention to me in any of the discords or telegrams I'm in, I've made this statement many times. I'm going to jump to the weekly time frame. Now we can obviously see that price has made a higher high, but the RSI has made a lower high. This is the weekly time frame now. And the statement that I'm referring to about that, if you've seen me make this many times, and even on my YouTube videos, I say that I would rather buy the bottom of a weekly stochastic reset. If we're in a bull market, I'd rather buy the bottom where my cursor is. This is the stochastic RSI indicator. I'd rather buy the bottom of this than the top. If we make a full reset and can maintain an uptrend, I'll be more comfortable buying that pullback. So on the daily time frame, we can see where Bitcoin could start bouncing right here. And I've given this roadmap many times. Even on TradingView charts, I have a full roadmap of what I think is going to happen for a Q1 25 price action. And like I said, this is an analysis. This is a game of probabilities. And we haven't even had a true Bitcoin correction of 20%. I'm going to go back to my TradingView charts that I posted on my ideas just to show. If you don't feel like watching my YouTube videos, you can follow me there. Because everybody started screaming crash after Bitcoin couldn't get over 100K. And that word crash is just overused. That's from Noob Says Crash. This is like a 15% correction. Bitcoin is known for doing 20% corrections. You can go back test that, and you'll see I'm not going to give that lesson here, but we haven't even had a 20% correction. So a crash would, in my opinion, be at least 40%, like straight shot, no consolidation, no retesting of previous highs, just straight shot down. That would be a crash. So until this uptrend on the weekly is broke, I'm not gonna entertain anybody's little noob. I'm new to crypto, so I just copy what I hear other people say because it sounds cool. I don't even entertain those conversations. But so let's jump to my trading view idea post that I did, I think maybe a week ago. I made this post December 22nd when everybody started using that word crash so recklessly. BTC is correcting. This isn't a crash. So let's look at this chart. Okay, so I drew from the Trump pump, I drew a VWAP. That's the green moving average looking line you see. I drew a VWAP and I anchored it from the Trump pump, and I also anchored a volume profile. So you see we have 88K as the value area low, which is also at a bullish mitigation box, that gray rectangle right here. The gray rectangle is also close. It's about 89 to close to 92K. It's this bearish candle right here before we pump, price come back down to it many times. Could not break this support. So that is a bullish mitigation block. Also, we lost the point of control on the daily time frame if you're looking at current day's price action. And so I'm expecting a bounce from this area. So that would be about a 20% correction. I would expect a bounce. I don't expect the RSI to go into extreme oversold, as I just said. I expect a bounce before then. Now let's jump back into the charts. Okay, well, let's just look at this real quick. So the very next day, December 23rd, I posted what I think is going to happen. This is a vertical chart because I want people to be in the now price action. You know, I'm not trying to make people go learn the history of Bitcoin. I get tired of people on social media or YouTube. I don't have time. If I'm somebody that's uninformed, I don't have time to listen to your whole teachings. You know, if you have some teachings that you want to throw in during the video real quick, that's what I do. I'll teach somebody something real quick or give my little knowledge that I have on whatever indicator it may be, but I'm not going through no huge process on every video. I want you to know what's going on currently in the market, and a vertical video is perfect. So this is a daily mitigation block. If we lose this will be my bearish scenario for Q1 before we bounce back up, go retest the highs or go into new highs. If we lose this mitigation block, come back up, and it turns into resistance, then we can come down to where we pump from at the bottom of this yellow arrow at about 74,000, which is also a weekly trend line. That's where I could see Bitcoin going for a corrective phase that could last many months and then finally go back up. You know, after consolidation and correction, go back up to test the previous highs or continuation to the higher bull run targets that everybody's speculating. So I think this will happen in Q1. That'll be it. Bitcoin starts losing its strength. The altcoins will run, in my opinion. After that, it's going to be a very small window. And I said that with strength because it will be a very small window when the altcoins go absolutely nuts. So if people aren't tracking Bitcoin in comparison to altcoins and knowing when to get in on some DCA buys or just putting some skin in the game, they're going to miss those crazy moves. They're going to be too scared to FOMO after those coins like just explode. And I think that could continue on. Maybe the end of Q2, everything stalls in the summertime. I'm just remembering kind of like how 21 went. But that's my thoughts on that. I'm not setting anything in stone with altcoins. I have to play altcoins by ear, looking at USDT dominance, also Bitcoin dominance. But if Bitcoin fails, the alts are going to fail. I've been saying that. Everybody gets happy when Bitcoin has a little spike and their altcoins go crazy. I totally understand that. But until Bitcoin decides which direction it's going to go in ultimately, and I think a correction is needed first. I could be wrong. This is a game of probability, but this is what I see. This bounce could happen at 92K. Let's go back to the chart. This bounce could happen. You see this RSI? It could come down to about the 35. I don't think it's going to go I'll dip below the 30 and go extreme oversold. It could come down to about right here where you see my cursor drawing this, about 34 to 35. This is speculation. I feel like these areas that we're in right now, from this 93, high 92K to 90K to 88K to 84K, just depending, like all this area, I could see an extreme bounce coming. Now, let's zone into something. This looks like this candle right here, this looks like a supply area. We had this small candle, then a strong, large candle. They say supply zones are small candles before a large candle. And the Bitcoin, wherever it does, if it bounces and it can't take that out at 99K area to 100K, if it can't take this area out, things could just look ugly, you know, whenever that time comes. Also, if it breaks that area and it gets rejected right here at the highs, that could be ugly too. And let's see, I'm going to give my complete thoughts on what I would say, what I would think a bear market is. If Bitcoin comes down, loses the 60K area, which was so important. And this could take some time. I'm not saying this is going to be in the near future. This will be many months if this scenario played out. After Bitcoin, in my opinion, could come all the way down to 74K. After I just showed the path on my Trading View chart that I posted on the ideas section. This could be a huge consolidation that lasts months, just like we did back here. Look at this. After this March ETF hype, we came down into the weekly time frame order blocks, which I called in advance. I bought here. A lot of other people were scared to buy. But this was March until November, until it broke out of that 73K high. That is a long time. So that could be a scenario. But what I'm telling you is, during that scenario, if Bitcoin does come down to the 74 range, goes up, gets rejected, consolidates at any time, in my opinion, if it loses this 60K area, can't come back above the trend line, let's say in this area right here, it gets rejected in the 73K area, 69K area. If it can't get back above this, then I would be screaming, I'm going to start looking for like going heavy on some short plays. But that's just my opinion. I'm not going to, I'm not into those moon boy projections. I trade for a living. Everybody knows that. I don't like to keep on saying that, but the charts have to show me what's going on. Right now, we're in the uptrend macro time frame. Here goes the weekly time frame. Anybody tells you otherwise, yes, there are divergences, but when you're in a bull run, a negative or a bearish divergence, I've said this many times, it could just mean a correction. That doesn't mean just ultimate reverse from here and then we go down forever. We've seen that is not the case. If you go look at 21, for instance, Bitcoin had a huge correction from 63K, a 50% correction. Anything could happen. It went back up to test. That took a long time. From the time Bitcoin went up, kind of like the Trump pump in March, all the way before this was over, October of 21, that was a long time. So you don't know what the consolidation would look like if this is the top right here. This could be a huge consolidation phase that could last till, the end of 25. And the people that are calling this the top, you would have to wait for confirmation of that. We could consolidate here, come down, everybody gets trapped. People that bought these altcoins up here, trust and believe they could get trapped for months. And the ones that this was their only little bag, they went all in and got trapped. If the altcoins didn't run, got sucked down, I'm just being real with you. They could get trapped. Or if Bitcoin were to come down, consolidate, like I said, altcoins go nuts, as I said, and we still haven't seen the top yet. Everything just goes sideways and down, chopped down till the late summer of 25. Your money's trapped up here. Price goes back up. Bitcoin dominance goes back up. Altcoins still kind of moving slow. Bear market is over. Your money is still trapped at the top. These are just scenarios that could happen, but I'm not going to make this a long video. I just wanted to show that as far as me going heavy, this stochastic could flip up, just depending what happens. Go back up, fake everybody out, and then come all the way back down. But for right now, I'm waiting to see a full stochastic reset whenever that happens. I'm waiting to see, this is the weekly time frame. On the daily time frame, I'm ready to see if we're going to get that bounce from where price is right now, literally from here down to the 84K area. If we're going to get a bounce, get rejected, come down to the 74K area. If that scenario happens, keyword if. And then once again, I'll end like this. Are you ready? Are you prepared if Bitcoin were to just absolutely bounce right now? Boom. This might be, if that happened and you aren't in the market because you were scared, you never made any plays when Bitcoin went to key levels. That would just be a hard lesson learned if you missed out on that. Bitcoin tops out and everything's over. Anything can happen in this game. This is cryptocurrency. Now the big dogs are involved. I'll make another video about why I think everybody has this whole ETF hype wrong. If you go look at the stock market, the 100-year cycle, I don't think all the moon boys of crypto will be ready for Bitcoin to adopt that type of price action. That's just my opinion. But anyway, peace out. I hope this video helps. I recommend going watch my past videos. Any video I made, short form videos, long videos from the Trump pump until now. Peace.